everybody. It's me. It's Lady Blue. It's your girl. Running a little late, but we are on. I'm glad that everybody is here today. It is beautiful outside. If you have not gotten up to get outside yet, I highly suggest you get up and get outside before something changes. It is absolutely gorgeous outside. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate his patience with everything that's going on, and I want to welcome my special guest, Marques Dent. Marques, go ahead and say hello to everybody.
Lady Blue, it's such a pleasure to be on this morning.
I am so glad you are here. You know, this has just been an interesting time, and I have to let y'all know that my youngest son, who I constantly talk about, is with me in the studio today. His name is Julian, and he's over there just cheesing away. Yes, you can say hi, honey. Say hi. He is so excited. He's like, yes, I get to say hi. Go ahead, honey, say hi.
Hello.
Okay, now that we know Julian is here, he is my Periscope man for the day. If you are on Periscope, log on to Periscope, Lady Blue. We're going to get into this conversation with Marques Dent and find out what he's got going on in Baltimore, with himself, with the election, everything that's going on. So Marques, let's just get started. Tell the folks out there a little bit about you.
Well, first and foremost, again, I want to say thank you for having me on this morning. It's just such a pleasure, and it is a beautiful day outside. I'm glad the weather's finally breaking. It's been a long campaign trail up in the 3rd District. 3rd District is northeast Baltimore near Morgan State, all the way to the county line up to Taylor Avenue. And we have a lot of things going on just in that region of the city, specifically with our education system and our folks trying to just deal with different corporations that are in our communities that want to grow and want to prosper, and just looking for more resources and increased funding. That's some of the things that I'm tackling right now, even before I take office.
Okay, all right. And you are born bred Baltimore, so you know Baltimore.
I was born and raised right in northeast Baltimore, right off Tivoli. I used to eat at Northwood Shopping Center every day at Sonny's. Shout out to Sonny's.
Okay. We gonna bring food in. I'm hungry, so stop talking about food.
Right.
All right. So I mean, you've been in, because I wrote an article on you not too long ago, and you have been in the political game. I can't say the political game. You've been interested in politics for a minute, because back in '92 through '96, you helped with voter registration. Am I correct?
Yes, as a child.
Okay. And then you volunteer. Are you still volunteering today?
Actually, no. I wouldn't even call it volunteering.
Mm-hmm.
I provide numerous service mechanisms for the community, ranging from job placement, employment, certification, and training, all the way to after-school programs, summer camps, including my baseball league that I run, Northwood Baseball League. So my programs have been stalwarts in the community for years. Following my military career, that's pretty much when I started the Dent Group, delivering educational needs together, and our primary focus is serving the community and the needs of the people. So these operations, they're not going anywhere. They'll continue regardless of whether I run for office, not run for office. My life has been about service almost since birth.
Okay, nothing wrong with that. And we're going to get into your programs in a little while. I know a little bit about your history, but we're gonna go over it a little bit. You went to a historically black college university, TSU, correct?
Absolutely. I went to Tennessee State University.
All right. And where you graduated TSU and then over to Webster, or was it a transfer from TSU to Webster?
No, actually, I graduated from TSU in 2006 with my bachelor's degree.
Okay.
And then when I went to the military to fulfill my commitment due to my scholarship, I was in St. Louis for my first duty station. And the base there, Scott Air Force Base in Belleville, Illinois, had Webster University on campus. So I went there for graduate school, night school, for about a year and a half. Then I graduated from there in 2009 with my master's degree.
Okay. All right. And then somewhere in there, the military called your name.
Well, and actually, I was in the military while I was still in school. Okay. So in 2006, I got my commission as an officer, lieutenant, and I just kept going to school while I was serving, and I went to school at night. Then when I got stationed at the Pentagon working for President Obama, I still continued going to school. At this point, I was going to Widener University in Delaware.
Okay.
So I would have to go to D.C. to Delaware, back to Baltimore, back and forth. But I was at Widener taking law classes up there.
Okay.
So.
So you worked the DMV.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Worked the DMV. How did it feel to get that first bar as a second lieutenant?
Well, the promotion process in the military is such a rewarding experience because you work so hard and you work for the American people, and that's the epitome of service because you're essentially responsible for life in the sense that your decisions could positively or negatively affect the lives of so many people that you may or may not have ever met, and that's just a great responsibility. And I just remember not only my promotion to first lieutenant, but my promotion to captain.
Right.
Being promoted to captain in the Pentagon with generals and other high-ranking officials there, I was awestruck, and the ceremony was for me.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just such a rewarding experience. And I wouldn't trade my military experience at all. That's where I grew as a man. And going into the military at 21 years old, someone said, hey, you're responsible for 240 people and $240 million. Good luck, buddy. That's a lot of responsibility to have as a 21-year-old. Now I'm 31, and I want the responsibility of helping my community up in the 3rd District.
All right. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And I feel you on that one. 21, trying to just remember to get up in the morning versus trying to deal with 240 people. I worked at the Pentagon, too. Pentagon ain't no joke. It is something when you walk in there, it's like you will never be the same. I had the joy of working there while Colin Powell was still in office. So I had the opportunity to talk with the man and the like. Intelligence, all of that is something to behold when you are in the hallowed halls of the Pentagon. While you were in the service, Marcus, of course, we all were affected by 9/11. How did 9/11 affect you, change the atmosphere during that time for you? Because you were still at the Pentagon at that time, or were you out of the Pentagon at that time?
9/11, that was in 2001. I was in 11th grade.
Okay, you were 11th grade. Okay, I'm too old for some people here. How about that?
Actually, no. I was in. Actually, you know what? I was in 12th grade.
Okay.
Because fast forward 10 months, that's when I signed my contract with the Air Force.
All right.
10 months after 9/11.
All right.
So that was one of the driving forces that I even pursued the military, not only for the scholarship opportunities, but also because my father was actually in New York during 9/11, and he used to go to this little coffee shop right across the street from the Trade Center. That particular morning, he didn't go to that coffee shop, and it saved his life.
All right.
He works in emergency management for the government as well.
So it had an effect on you.
Absolutely.
I completely understand. That's something that's going to be etched in everybody's mind forever. It doesn't matter who you are, what you were doing. 9/11 is going to be there one way or the other. So with all of that coming up and going through the experiencing what goes on with voter registration, the political offices, working at the Pentagon, which one of those instances spoke to you and said, I need to take this a step further?
When you're serving the community, serving your country, even serving food at one of our homeless facilities, you get a sense of pride and you get a sense of responsibility every time you go out into the community and every time you participate in something that is outside yourself. And that's more so what it's about, the participation of things that are outside yourself, the inclusion of everyone in trying to make, number one, our day-to-day lives better, but ultimately our city of Baltimore better as well. And I feel as though going down to City Hall and being able to take a resident's concerns and enact a law behind it that can ultimately benefit them on a day-to-day basis and make their families safer and their children grow and prosper, that's what it's really about. And that's what I plan to do once I get down to City Hall as a city councilman.
All right, anything wrong with that? Now, you're still doing a number of things outside the campaign as well as within your campaign trail. I want to talk about the Dent Group.
Sure.
The Dent Group. Tell the listeners where it's at, what it offers, and then we're going to talk about two of the annual events that you hold with the Dent Group.
So it's delivering educational needs together. Dent, indicative of my last name. We started in 2010, and our first initiative was to get people employed. My skill set is comprised of cybersecurity, software development, hardware infrastructure, so IT mostly. So that's the skill I wanted to give back to the community. So that's what I've been doing, is providing that skill set through training and education. It's different from masonry or carpentry or construction or some of the other programs that are out there. I just wanted to make sure we had a lot of different options for our individuals who are seeking employment. And STEM is something that is growing with us nationwide, worldwide, really. So we should be at the forefront of it right here in Baltimore City, and I want to make that opportunity possible. To date, we trained, certified, and employed over 450 individuals citywide. That is something I'm immensely proud that we've accomplished, but we still have more work to do, because we still have more folks out here that do need employment, that do need training. And another number is 60%. 6% of our students have been ex-felons. So the reason I looked at that demographic specifically is because I wanted to prove that, despite what trials and tribulations you may have had, homelessness, addiction, criminal activity, you can rebound. You can rebound and be a productive member of society.
Okay.
And we've proven that over the years.
Okay. All right. So you're talking about training, certification. Do you offer the things like preparing for the job interviews, preparing resume writing? What other things are in there in the world of trying to employ an ex-felon?
And that's the thing. We provide complete wraparound services. We don't just give you a textbook and tell you to study and say good luck.
Right.
If you have a housing situation, an addiction situation, I had one guy come to me and said, "Dan, I'm ready for my interview, but I don't have my tie." I gave him the tie off my neck, and he got the job. And the thing is, you got to be prepared to not only infuse everything you have into other people, but to make sure you get them to the finish line. Because it's one thing to open the door, but if they never make it to the elevator to get to the top floor, then your job isn't done. So we provide complete wraparound services for everyone.
Okay, and is it just you, or who are you bringing in? Who are you partnering with? Excuse me while I trip over my own tongue. Who are you partnering with? Who's offering their services to you to bring this to light for these individuals?
That's the thing. Over the years, through service, I've developed a lot of relationships, and those relationships have afforded me the opportunity to provide such a great program. And we've been dozens of places across the city and even in the state. Just to name a few, the Oliver Center. We've been in Northwood Recreation. We've been up at Hamilton Hills. We've been at Lakewood Towers. We've been at Yo Baltimore East. We've even went out to the Rockville Juvenile Justice Center as well. We've also been at pre-release down on Greenmount Avenue. Countless churches and other places that have populations that need and want to have training. And it's not just about job placement, we also have training for our seniors. A lot of our seniors, they want a Facebook page so they can talk to their grandkids. They want to know how to pay their bills online. They want to break down those barriers, that technology and that fear that they may or may not have with using the computer and checking their emails. We want to provide that opportunity to our seniors as well, to get them comfortable with, my grandmother likes to download her movies on there, so she's definitely a movie buff.
Go Grand.
So you want to make sure they feel comfortable with that, and they can do that without always having to rely on somebody else, or they've had a computer or a tablet sitting there for years and they've never even tried it. So we provide those services to our seniors as well. And then we've also branched out to our young people, providing early website development training, STEM summer camps. Myself and my business partner, Five Star Enterprise, Kendrick Tillman. We've been doing this just with the youth piece for about the last 3 years, and it's been amazing. Our young people It's hard to sell them on coming to computer camp, but we make it cool and we make it a good experience for them, and they definitely get a lot of it. It's very enriching for them to be able to express themselves on cyberspace and social media and via their own websites that they control themselves.
Okay, and I like that because not a lot of folks have patience to teach the seasoned community. I call them the seasoned community.
They are seasoned.
Okay, I call them the seasoned community. They don't have the patience to teach the computer because the computer, and forgive me for all y'all that know how to work a computer, but the computer is not always an easy thing. Turning it on is one thing, working around in there is a whole nother ball of wax. So I applaud you for including the seasoned community in what you do. Now, one of your big things that I know about you, Marcus, is the fact that you believe in being a role model. And how has being a role model changed you? And I'm going to say from 21 to 31. How has that changed you?
Well, the thing is, in the military, through training and through our culture, especially in the Air Force, you're always an officer and a gentleman. The day you step outside, you're representative of that. You're representative of something bigger than yourself, and the eyes are always on you. I've continued to conduct myself like that through my entire adult life, where, the public light and the public perception is not only key because young people are watching you every movement and soaking up everything that you're doing. So you must always make sure that you are above reproach. You are above board in all of your actions. And that's the essence of mentorship is, I used to watch my father every morning wake up and put on a suit and tie and go to work. I had no idea what he did for a living. But I know once I became an adult, I got up every morning and put my suit and tie on to this day because that's what I saw. That's all I knew. I saw a man wake up and put a suit and tie on. So that's what I wanted to be a part of as well. And specifically from the mentorship aspect of it, I'm a part of a group called the Black Professional Men Incorporated. They've been providing mentorship for the last 24, 25 years. Again, my father was in that group, so I'm in that group as well. And we provide mentorship across the city and state in Baltimore, Greater Baltimore, for a lot of young people, specifically providing scholarships for these young men, these young black men, so they can pursue higher education. So mentorship is definitely at the forefront of what I do, and it's more so providing opportunity for young people to see something different, experience something different, and have an opportunity.
Okay, awesome. You mentioned coaching baseball.
Yes.
Are you still on the board of directors for the Northwood Baseball League?
Well, actually, I'm the chairman of the board now.
Bump that up, chairman of the board.
Right. It's just a blessing. I played at Northwood from 5 years old all the way to 16 years old. So I'm a former player. Then coming back and serving as a coach, and then getting on the board and starting making decisions for the league, and then now actually running the league as the chairman. It's just a progression as far as how much I care and how I can give back to, number one, the league that helped raise me, but number two, affect the young people that are coming behind me. Even today, we'll be hosting a egg hunt at 4 p.m. today right on Northwood Baseball Field, and I want to thank the police department, Northeast Police Department, Major Worley, and the rest of his crew, Sergeant Hardy, Lieutenant Preston, for being those community police officers that we desperately need up in the Northeast. And they've been doing programs with myself and also with Northwood Baseball League for years now. And since what happened last April with Freddie Gray, they're just now getting some spotlight and highlighting some of the things that they've already been doing up in the Northeast. And it serves as a model to the rest of the city that, we can utilize our organizations, we can utilize a lot of the things that are already going on in our communities to highlight the efforts of our young people and our police officers at the same time. So if you're free today, come check us out at 4 p.m. up at Northwood Baseball League, 1801 Argonne Drive. We'll have face paint, the bunny, lots of eggs, lots of candy. I'm actually going to be boiling some of the eggs myself.
Okay,
and
so
painting
can
them.
cook too, y'all. Okay.
I try to do what I can do.
We're going to come back. This is Lady Blue on the Lady Blue Radio Show. We're on WMSK online radio. Talk radio just got better. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Welcome back to the Lady Blue Radio Show on WMSK online radio. If you are not doing anything Wednesday, August the 6th, I believe that's Wednesday, but anyway, August the 6th, WMSK Online Radio is presenting the Crab Feast and Concert event at Martin's Crosswinds in Greenbelt, Maryland at 7 p.m. Come out with WMSKOnlineRadio.com. CEO Tia, Miss Connoisseur herself, Hamilton, as she celebrates her birthday with all you can eat crab. That's a crab feast. All you can eat food, unlimited premium drinks, and a concert featuring comedian T.K. Kirkland, Dougie Fresh, and MC Light. MC Light gonna be in the building. Man, I love MC Light. Tickets per person is $129. There's a $50 deposit due April the 1st. Second payment due on May the 1st. Balance due June the 1st. Space is limited and will fill fast. Visit www.yourtripinfo.com and use trip code TIA, that's TIA 000089, WMSKOnlineRadio.com. And make sure you keep up with what you paid, okay? Because you are responsible for it and your own transportation. Any more info, you can contact 443-814-1337. And we are back talking to my special guest, Marques Dent. Marques, you still with us here?
Oh, definitely. I'm not going anywhere.
You haven't gone anywhere. All right. Marques, we're going to bring up something that's coming up with WMSK in May, and that's the Youth Summit that's coming up. Talk about that. You're going to be a member of that panel, correct?
Absolutely. You know, when we do things that are going to be positively impacting our young people, I'm 100% on board. And WMSK taking the charge and taking the lead with this, that's just a testament to what's going on here as an organization and what you guys are providing to the community on a day-to-day basis.
All right. Awesome. What are you looking forward to the most? Is it being around the youth? What is it that you're looking forward to the most for this summit?
You know, a lot of times when you go to different summits, I'll share, my perspective. I'll share my thoughts, but I more so go to listen. I want to know what the concerns are from the youth, what they would like to see, what things interest them, and how I can bring that about. Let me know what you need me to do, and then we can put action behind that as well.
Y'all hear that? Youth, speak up. The last few shows we've talked a lot about the youth of Baltimore. The youth of Baltimore is important. They are our future. So we need to build up our youth, have them believe in themselves, give them something they can honor and respect, and something that they can look forward to. And when they have positive role models, be it Marques Dent, be it someone in the field, radio field, any field that they're in, that they can look up to and see that if you believe it, you can achieve it. I'm all for that. Marques, I thank you for being a part of that summit. That's going to be awesome.
Absolutely.
If you're available, come out for that youth summit in May. We'll have more information on that shortly. Let's get back, Marques, to talking about a few of the things that you're involved in here in Baltimore City. One of the things is you did mention your involvement with Baltimore City Police Department, and I did note the Compassion Response Team. Are you still a part of that? And if so, what's going on with that now?
So I'm still a part of the Compassion Response Team. Just a little bit of background with the Compassion Response Team. What happens is when we have any type of major incident, critical incident in Baltimore City, I'm in Sector 1 of Northeast. So if it's a fire or if it's a murder or anything tragic, as a leader of the Compassion Response Team, I walk the scene just like the police officers do, but my only job is to make sure the families have the resources they need. A lot of times our officers are doing what they're supposed to do, investigating, finding out what happened, why it happened, getting to the root cause, and searching for ways to secure the scene. They're not necessarily um, focused on that crying mother or that enraged father because their child is lost that's where I come in. I speak to the parents, I speak to the family, and provide the resources that they need. We've had house fires and things like that. They may not know who to call or know where to go or know uh, what kind of support system is out there. That's what I'm there for, to bridge that gap between the officers actually doing their job as officers, protecting us and providing those safety nets, and as community members providing those services to the community. So that's what the Compassion Response Team is really about, and it's actually led by Lieutenant Colonel Melvin Russell. Shout out to Colonel Russell.
Hey, Colonel Russell.
But moving forward on April the 12th, from 6 to 9 p.m., 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., I'll actually be hosting a Day of Peace. And again, this is with the community police officers. I'll be the host. We'll have several youth artists come out to perform. We'll have guest speakers. We'll have food and things like that. And it's going to be a great community day, April the 12th. So if you have time, it's going to be right on the corner of St. Clair Lane and Moravia. If you have time, come on out. Experience just a day of peace and positivity in Baltimore City.
Okay, mark that date, April the 12th. April the 12th. Now, you mentioned a little bit in there about violence and things like that. You had a Stop the Violence Peace initiative. Is that also with Baltimore City PD?
Yes. My peace initiative has been running for about the last 3 years. I work specifically with Deshaun Baston from one of the youth commissioners from East Baltimore. And when we see a tragedy in our communities, we go out, we march for peace, we pray, we contact the families, we contact the communities where the incident unfortunately happens, and we just provide, some sense of structure and some sense of compassion to those families. Unfortunately, last year we were very, very busy. 344 murders. We didn't get to all of them, but we were able to contact many of those families that were affected, and just pour a little bit of love into them and a little bit of care. Even on the first day of this year, I was right there, 8 a.m. after New Year's Eve on New Year's Day. We marched down North Avenue for the murdered sons, the mothers of murdered sons, and that was a surreal experience because it wasn't just our sons and daughters. We actually read off every name of all 344 individuals that were murdered in 2015. And what struck home to me, it was about 8 of my family members and about 10 of my close friends that were on that list. So I don't know what the percentage is, but maybe 2-3% were family and close friends of mine, and that's what people really just don't understand. It's not just a name on a list; that's somebody's family.
Right. That's got to be powerful and moving in itself, because those victims are not just numbers. They are not a statistic. They are somebody's mother, brother, sister, uncle, father, friend, cousin, whatever they are to another individual. Their lives are, their memory is bright. Their lives have just been taken from this earth, and that's just. Let me ask you, Marcus, before we move on to any of the other subjects, with the level of murders in Baltimore City, and likened almost to that of Chicago, Detroit, New York, because it seems the Eastern Seaboard is going through a lot in the violence category. And I'm not saying it's not everywhere, but just focusing on where we're at on the Eastern Seaboard. Do you feel that because there's not enough community involvement, that this is picking up, or is it just a sense of people at an end that just don't see any other way out?
You got several different type of crimes that are out there. Largely during your winter times or your colder times opposed to inside, you have crimes of opportunity. Those are your break-ins, your larcenies, those crimes of survival, those are your robberies. May steal food, may steal money, but when you have crimes of violence, depraved indifference for humanity, that is a societal issue. That is a systemic issue.
Okay.
There's something deeply rooted that is wrong in your community where taking a life is common practice. We got 365 days in a year. So every point 0.8 of a day, we kill somebody in Baltimore City. God forbid it's a sunny day like today. Who knows what's going to happen?
Today's too beautiful. Don't do it.
But the thing is, we talk about other neighborhoods and other communities nationwide, really. We had a saying down in college, one hood is the same as the next. Nobody's tougher than anybody else. Because that's indicative of kind of how it is nationwide. You go to Detroit, Chicago, New York, New Jersey. My cousin, he's a chef up in Philadelphia. He just got shot getting off work. He makes soup and baked bread. He's not, out here committing crimes, and he was just walking to his car and somebody tried to steal his car and he got shot. He was trying to save his car because that was his first car. As a young guy, this is his first car. He just got out of culinary art school, so he was trying to protect his material accomplishment.
Right.
But at the same time, a young guy, somebody try to take your car. I don't know what I would do if somebody tried to take my first car. I work hard for that 1984 Nissan Max with the leaky sunroof.
Hey, it works. That's all that matters.
Yeah, but it's like I said, it's a societal, systemic thing, and we all have to work together to try to get to a place where murder, taking someone's life, ending someone's existence, is no longer a part of the way we resolve our differences. We just had one of our DPW sanitation workers killed by a coworker over a disagreement, and nothing. And listen, I don't provoke violence, but you're really, really weak if you have to resort to a gun. You just are. Back in the day, you put on the gloves and you box it out, but at the end of the day, you live to see another day.
There you go.
Not like I said, I don't promote violence, but I definitely don't provoke ending someone's life. So if you want to be tough, but there's a way you can do it without having to murder somebody.
I completely and totally agree with you. And you're right. Back in the day, you just picked a time, met on the corner, duked it out. You got your feelings hurt, maybe a fat lip and a black eye, but you shook hands and you went home, and it was done. There was none of this coming back later, and waiting for an opportune time to take somebody out. That's
just weak if you had to sneak up on somebody.
Yeah, that's just and we got to look at the fact that so much has happened in Baltimore. Freddie Gray being pretty much the top of the list, but you can go back further than Freddie Gray. We've had the active shooter situation that happened at Columbia Mall.
Absolutely.
We've had the young. They don't have to be 18 and up. Young ones have lost their lives just walking on the street, sitting on their porch, things of this nature. Our penal system is full. The revolving door, my tongue is not working today. The revolving door of the penal system is what bothers me, because it's constant. It doesn't stop, and we just keep throwing them in there as fast as we can throw them in there. And some of them are in there over things that really, I don't understand what they're in there for. Okay, I really don't. You're filling up on things that don't. I guess my point being, what would you tell a young man who is just in a situation where it's not looking good? What kind of encouragement would you give him, Marcus, to tell him there is a way, that if you just stick it out with me, there is a way?
It's not even just our young people. Mm-hmm. We got our young people, we got our working citizens, we got our seasoned folk. It's about hope. That's one thing that everyone looks for, including myself, is hope. Just a sense that what you're going through today, what you're going through tomorrow, that's not what you're going to go through forever, and there is some light at the end of the tunnel, and we have to work together to shine that light on all of us. and that little bit of hope gets you to the next day. That little bit of hope gets you to the next hour, the next minute, or whatever it is that you're going through. And a lot of times, one of the things that we lose sight of is mental health. And, you know, people that have demons going on in their heads and it's not being addressed. But if you talk to that person and provide that person a little bit of hope and some help, you know, it could go a long way with dealing with a lot of our issues.
Agreed. Sometimes folks just need someone to talk to. 5 minutes. Give them a chance to get it off their chest or off their shoulders. I've mentioned it before. Saying hi to someone, patting them on the back and saying, how you doing? Those small acts make a big difference to a lot of people. Because if you walk down the street, not everybody will look at someone in the eye. Not everyone will raise a hand and say hello. Not everyone will speak to each other in a pleasant manner. It's either loud, boisterous, and demeaning, or somebody's calling somebody a name that we won't even mention on the air this time of morning. Okay? And small changes. Start small. It's easy to get in trouble. It's harder to get out of it. But once you are on that road to getting out of it, it's one foot in front of the other. Y'all only got to take one day at a time. So thank you for expounding on that a little bit, Marcus. Let's talk about building a better Baltimore. What do you think we need to do, or you can do within your campaign to build a better Baltimore?
You know, the one thing is it's the building blocks are there. We just got to put them together. And unfortunately, it is a campaign year because campaigning takes away from putting those pieces together to that puzzle. You know, I spend a lot of my day going out campaigning and asking for your confidence in me and to go vote for me, instead of actually going out there and providing the services that I've been providing. You know, I wish the system was just a little bit different, but that's the world we live in. But at the same time, you know, building a better Baltimore has to be done when the lights aren't shining, when the TV cameras are gone, and it's the things you do when no one is looking. That's how you really build community. Face-to-face interactions, finding out what people actually need, and also being brave enough to ask for help. You know, pride is a terrible thing.
Oh, yes.
Let me tell you, I have zero pride. Help me. Look, help me. I need some help. So, you know, we just gotta look out for each other, and that's how we build and strengthen our communities. Just by, number one, opening our mouths, saying what we need, and be honest, I may not be able to want to give it to you, but I know somebody who can.
There you go.
And I'll walk you over there, and we can talk to that person, and I'll make sure and hold that person accountable if that's a service that they provide, they should be providing, that you need.
Right.
And if nothing exists, you know, oh well, we'll make it up ourselves. You know, when I started the Dent Group, nobody was providing government level IT training to ex-felons. That's not even something that's ever been heard of.
Right.
One of the reasons I even started it was because I knew I would have no competition because nobody else could do it. So it's a monopoly. Okay. No one's selling what I'm selling, and it's free. So everybody can take advantage. But you know, you see an issue, you see a problem, and you just tackle it. Regardless of any type of roadblocks or barriers. Let me tell you, do not accept no for an answer. My first after-school program that I started back in 2012 was because the principal told me that the mayor cut the funding for the after-school program. I'm not saying anything bad about the mayor or anybody else, but this principal came to me with a problem. I said, well, how much was the budget for? She told me how much the budget was. I said, I don't have that much, but I got half. You know, and we took my half and did a little bit of fundraising, and that school still has an after-school program. It's fully funded by the Dent Group. without any city funding, without any state funding. So what you can't get from other people, you can do it yourself just via community, and that's building a better Baltimore. That's one of the things. I don't have to wait on anybody. If I see an issue, I can tackle it right now. Election, no election, campaign, no campaign. I actually get myself in a little bit of trouble with my campaign staff. They say, "What are you doing?" Well, I'm doing this thing for the community. Well, you need to be out here campaigning. I get to that. I get to it,
Community first.
But I gotta fight for what I know is what I'm here for, and that's serving the community. And if it takes me away from campaigning sometimes, so be it. Hopefully the voters still turn out and have the same confidence in me because I'm out here doing the work.
All right now. And you mentioned a very key point. You may not know what to do about it, but you may know someone who knows what to do about it. Networking is key, and there's enough of us in Baltimore, and we don't necessarily have to be in an office, on a radio station. We could be in a bakery like your cousin. We could be a chef like your cousin. We could be doing blue collar work, but we would know someone who may be able to solve a situation. And I'm going to go back to the mental health issue for a second here, because mental health is huge. Because a lot of the things, or a few, I'm not going to say a lot, let me reword that. A number of things that have been going on in the world, or mainly in the United States, have been the result of someone with a mental illness. And the mental illness is known by the family but kept on a hush. Marcus mentioned a very good point. Don't be ashamed to ask for help. If you don't know what to do, somebody out there knows what to do and point you in the right direction, especially with mental health issues. Mental health issues are serious, not only for the person that is dealing with it, but the family members and those surrounding. Because if you can't tell the signs, you don't know what's going to happen. If that person's going to pop off, if it's going to result in bodily harm or injury, not seeing that person again, them leaving and you not knowing where they're at. So take mental health seriously. If you feel you're in having a mental breakdown, anything like that, reach out. Go to your nearest health professional. Do what you need to do to get yourself better, and take the time for it. Nobody's rushing you. Take the time to do what you have to do to get yourself better. Now, Marcus, I want to talk a little bit about, we keep talking about Baltimore streets, city of Baltimore, building a better Baltimore. What about safer streets for Baltimore?
It takes our officers receiving the training that they need, having the resources that they need. I go to the police district 2-3 times a week. One of the officers said, "Is anybody else running for office?" I said, "Well, it's a lot of us. They just don't come around here." "Oh, because we only see you and you here every day. You got keys?" I said, "No, I don't have keys to the station." Y'all can give them to me. But the thing is, I see what the officers go through, and please don't let 1 to 2 bad apples be reflective of the entire force. Let me say that again. If you go to McDonald's and you get bad fries, does that mean everybody who makes fries at all McDonald's are bad fry makers? No, that is not the case. Every job has 1% of the people that don't do a good job. Either lack of training or lack of care, or just evil people. It's 1%. Cops, whoever, they're in the same boat. But at the same time, you do have good officers out here that are trying to do a good job on a day-to-day basis. They don't have the things they need. And I'll be 100% transparent. I joke with the officers all the time. I said, "Don't ever pull me over for a taillight, because yours don't work either." You know? So, and they laugh. They say, "Oh, we still gonna pull you over."
Like I'm giggling right now.
Right, because it's the pot calling the kettle black, or however it goes. But the thing is, they don't have the things. They don't even have computers in the car to run your tags. They don't even. I mean, the list goes. I'm not gonna air everything out because I know a lot. But the thing is, they need more resources. They need more help. And one of the things I am campaigning on is predictive analysis to help our officers find those people that are ripping our city apart through trending data, and bring those people to justice so that the citizens can be safe, we can have better communities. And when I say bring those people to justice, I'm not saying give people a million years in jail. I'm saying get those people in an opportunity where they can transition into productive members of society. And if that means we got to sit you down for a minute, we have to sit you down for a minute. If that means we got to put you in a treatment or put you in a training or get you off the street from committing crimes, or get you off the street so you're not a victim of crime. Because there's a fine line between assailant, and victim. It's a very fine line. You can be both sometimes.
Okay. So with all that's been going on, especially with Baltimore City Police Department, they're dealing with body cameras, they're dealing with all these other things that are going on. Because most of the youth, young adult, I'm just gonna say young adult, have zero respect for the law enforcement officer. Is there a way to change that? Because not, as you just said, not every law enforcement officer is a bad apple.
My baseball coach was a police detective, Detective Troy. It's funny because we actually look just alike now in my adult life.
Okay.
Right. And I'm telling his age a little bit, but we gotta have officer friendly. Our officers gotta get out of the vehicles. This summer I actually had a program called Cops and Kids Baseball Game. And that was the first time some of our young people, young adults, have seen officers outside their uniforms. So the first time you see a police officer should not be for a negative situation. The first time you see a police officer should not be for something that's not positive. They're public servants first. And the thing is, we gotta break down those barriers. We do police ride-alongs in the Northeast, where the police come, they flash their lights, they stop on a particular block, and they let the kids come play in the car, honk the horn, get on the sirens. It's okay to come and talk to your officers. Our young men specifically that are outside on the corners trying to make a way for themselves. If you want to get off the corner, talk to the police officer. They'll help you. They'll get you into a program. So while you're outside doing whatever it is you're doing, you can stop doing that and be a productive member of society. But you got to have that trust level. You got to build that trust and have that respect level on both ends.
Okay, all right, and I appreciate that, especially when you learn what they have to sit in all day long. That's their office on four wheels all day long. We're going to come back. This is the Lady Blue Radio Show on WMSKOnlineRadio.com. Talk radio just got better. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. This is Lady Blue of the Lady Blue Radio Show on WMSKOnlineRadio.com. And I just want to bring up that last Saturday we had the third anniversary party for WMSK Online Radio. 3 years in the industry. If you were not at Club Oxygen Saturday night, you missed out. Everybody was in the house. You had Cypher, me, of course, the Lady Blue Radio Show. You had Weston Wu in the house. You had Let's Be Real in the house. You had it was a packed house, and Miss Connoisseur, Miss Tia Hamilton, did her thing. She grabbed that mic, she took control, and Boss Lady was in the house. We had a fantastic time. The food was on point. Those meatballs, I'm telling you, they were good, okay? And just hats off to everyone who contributed and came out and made the third anniversary party something to remember. That was a big deal, and I was glad to be a part of it. So hats off to Miss Connoisseur for a fantastic event. I'm back in here with my special guest, Marques Dent. Marques, we're going to talk a little bit about economic growth in Baltimore City. Do you feel the city has grown, or has it reached a stalemate? Does it need to move in a different direction? What do you feel about the economic growth going on in Baltimore right
now? In the last 15 years, we lost about 350,000 residents. Back in the 90s, we're close to 1 million residents. Now we're down about 600,000. That is because the lack of economic growth. We got to do more for our small businesses. We got to do more for our local businesses. We got to provide more incentives to have employment opportunities for our Baltimore City tax-paying residents. All of that goes into economic growth, so we have to do a better job with that citywide. I know we want to bring back at least 100,000 to 200,000 residents here in Baltimore City, and the one way we can do that is providing economic opportunity for our small business owners, for our local business owners, so that they can live, work, and grow here in the city of Baltimore.
Okay, and so what about housing? You had mentioned about housing earlier on in the show. Because you drive up and down some of the streets in Baltimore, you see beautiful front doors, beautiful facades, and then next thing you know, bam, you're hit with 4 or 5 houses that are boarded up, graffiti all over the place, trash everywhere. What can we do to bring the housing situation just pointed in a different direction? Because you've got many places here that either just need to be torn down and rebuilt, or just refurbished and reused. What's your opinion on that?
I mean, you just said it. We gotta rebuild our communities one house at a time, one neighborhood at a time. We have way too many vacants. There's no reason we got thousands of homeless individuals and thousands of houses that are not being inhabited.
Okay.
That is ridiculous.
Okay.
You know, the mayor, she has her vacancy value program that's been marginally successful. There's other programs that are out there to help rehab these houses, providing our construction workforce and our developers opportunities to get these dollar houses and refurbish them and put tax incentives for first-time home ownership and so on and so forth. There's programs out there that we have to take advantage of. Again, we got to open our mouths and say something, because if you don't say something, you won't know anything. You talked about networking, and you talked about just expanding your resource base. There's things that are out there where people can have home ownership. There is affordable renting opportunities as well. In addition to that, if you are a entrepreneur that wants to go into real estate and housing developments, there's opportunities for to go and rehab 2 or 3 houses and provide a safe home for someone who needs one.
Okay, and that's agreed. What do you feel? I don't know if you've heard in the news about tiny houses. Do you think tiny houses will help in the homeless community, or is it more just dealing with what's already out there instead of building something new?
You know, with the tiny house program, I believe any type of home opportunity, be it a tiny house or a big house or whatever kind of house you want to call it, if we're getting people off the streets, I'm definitely on board. I'm definitely for it. One thing that I really want to take a good hard look at is some of our schools. We have a lot of our, well, now I won't say a lot, we have some of our schools that won't be schools anymore,
Right.
due to the budget or due to how they're doing the spending that $1 billion we got from the state. Some schools will get improvements and some schools will get shut down in favor of another school for a community school. What are we doing with those schools? Why don't we rehab those schools and make those transition homes? Why don't we rehab some of those schools and make them apartment buildings, affordable apartment buildings for some of our residents? This thing, and some of those classrooms are pretty big. That'd be a nice 1 bedroom.
Hey.
You know, so we got to think outside the box with some of the brick and mortar situations that we already have. So if a situation where all we have to do is fix the plumbing, paint, and rehab the school, we can do that and make it into a home or several homes for someone if that building is still available. So we got to look at other opportunities that are out there for us.
Okay, and those opportunities, they're presenting themselves. I can guarantee on that. Now I'm gonna hit you with this one thing. We've talked about the homeless community, and I've been taking note lately that not necessarily here, but say like in Florida, you've had those people that have been arrested for feeding the homeless. France has an initiative that store owners are not to throw out good food. They're to give it to food banks, community services, things like that, so they can feed the homeless. Do you think something like that will work here in Baltimore? Because a lot of good food does go to waste. You do have some who contributed to shelters to be used for feeding the homeless. What's your take on that? Do you think that Baltimore would benefit from that?
I think Baltimore would benefit from those type of programs, but again, I think it's more so we gotta have a better socialization effort
Okay.
across the board. Of number one, assess what we already have.
Okay.
Assess what's already out there, what's already available, how we can get those resources to uh, our most underserved population.
Okay.
So, case in point, do you know where you can get free lunch every day? Every day. Homeless, not homeless, just don't have any money for lunch. You know where?
Me? No, not personally.
I know where it's at.
Okay.
And they have good food.
We'll get to talking where.
It's Paul's place in South Baltimore, right off Washington Boulevard.
Okay.
And they have free after school programs as well,
Okay.
and free food for anybody who comes in,
Okay.
and free resume writing every single day. You don't have to have an ID. You don't have to sign up. You don't even have to. You could be a millionaire and go in there and eat lunch for free. But a lot of people don't know about these programs.
Okay.
Many of our schools have food banks.
Okay. Right.
Case in point, Northwood Elementary had their food bank yesterday. They only do their food bank a few days prior to major holidays. Everybody wants to have a good Easter dinner, so they did a food bank. They did it yesterday from 2:15 p.m. No, excuse me, from 2:30 p.m. to 4:15 p.m.
Okay.
Principal Adams said, Marcus, can you help me put the word out there? I put something on Instagram, but if you don't have Instagram, then you would have never thought a message. So it's a socialization effort within the communities. You may be short a turkey or a ham or a chicken or something like that. It was right there free for you. All you had to do was come, And these are schools across the city at various times, but that's the kind of stuff that should be on the news. That's the kind of stuff that should be floating around cyberspace. That's the kind of stuff where pamphlets and leaflets should be passed out. Like, hey, this opportunity, all these places are having it. Take advantage.
Okay. Re-mention where this free food is at, but the operative word being free. They're not asking you for anything or any prerequisite. You can just stop on by. Where is it at again, Mike?
It's at Paul's Place right off Washington Boulevard. It's an amazing facility. I went there to walk through. Miss Melanie Haycock, she is one of the executive board members down there, and they run an excellent program. They have job placement. They have computers. Again, they got everything you need: laptops, wraparound services, help with your energy bill, BG&E, and they have free after-school programs for the kids. Again, free. And it's called Paul's Place.
Paul's Place. I'm going to write that down in my calendar as well. Let's talk a little bit about education in Baltimore. We've mentioned classrooms. We've mentioned schools. We've mentioned schools shutting down. The education of our youth is important. Do you feel that the youth are getting the education that they need, or does it need to go a step further?
I'm at Morgan State right now, pursuing my doctorate in urban education. I'm about halfway through my program.
Okay.
My mother has been a Baltimore City public school teacher for over 30 years. She's actually a assistant principal, but she's been principal, assistant principal, master teacher all through the school system. My grandmother, assistant principal, she's now retired. So I've seen where our school system was 20 years ago. I see where it is now, and we still have work to do.
Okay.
There are several pilot programs with our charter schools, with our community schools, where they're trying to make steps in the right direction. It's more so making sure we have that guidance moving forward, so we can get our young people the kind of education that they need.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we got to have everyone in third grade should be reading. We should have universal pre-K. We have things that we need right now, and again, it goes back to resources. Like I said about our officers not having resources, our teachers don't either. I have a program that I run where I provide school supplies every year.
Mm-hmm.
But mine's a little different where we provide the school supplies all year long, not just one day in August and then no more supplies.
Right,
And then,
yeah, because you have the back to school,
uh-huh,
Baltimore,
uh-huh.
but you also do something during the holidays as well.
Oh yes, and along those same lines, it's about providing services year round, not just a one hit wonder. You know, even with the school supplies, uh, we've done them all year. We go directly to the teachers, say, what do you need? You can't tell a child to go home and make a paper mache heart if there's no paper mache available.
Right.
You can't tell a child to go home and make index cards to study their sight words if they don't have index cards or even the pencil to write on the index cards.
Right.
So they have to have those resources available, and teachers don't make any money, and they can't keep running the Staples and wherever else to buy these supplies so that their students can have what they need. And that's what a lot of our teachers, they go into their pockets. I remember growing up, every day my mother used to bring another kid home. Like, who's this kid? Oh, this is little Susie, this little Johnny, they spending the night, or da-da-da-da, they going us this weekend. That's what a lot of our teachers do, because a lot of our young people, you know, they may come from fractured home situations, or they may have parents that do need assistance, that do need help, and they lean on the teachers. Now, you also mentioned my holiday help. That's what, when we have holidays, we provide food, we provide services, clothing, toys for the young people, not just during our winter holidays. It's all the holidays. Anytime where there's a holiday season, we try to do something to positively impact the community. And we've been doing this for several years. And every year, the programs expand, more partners come in, and it's gotten to the point, you know, I do a toy drive, but everybody wants me to come to their toy drive now. So I'm like, I'm running out of toys. I'm not Toys R Us. I run out of toys like everybody else, but it's just a joy to give back and to know that every November my phone's gonna be ringing off the hook because people want to participate, or you know, just even with. I got the Marriott calling me 3 times a year to come pick up blankets and pillows to pass out to our homeless individuals, and that's where the help comes in. You know, if you want to be known for something, that's something good to be known for. Hey, call Dent, he'll help you out. You know, my good friend Sabrina Williams, she always says Dent delivers, and that's what I try to do.
Awesome. You mentioned blankets, pillows, coats, I'm sure are in there somewhere, food, youth program. You know, there's a bevy of things that are going on with Marques Dent. Not only in running politically for 3rd District Council, City Council seat, but taking care of the community. The community is important. And if it's not painfully obvious right now that the community is important to this young man, I don't know what to tell you. I really, really don't. One last thing we're going to touch on, Marques, is child care. I'm a mom. Child care about killed me 2-3 years ago because it's expensive. And to get a voucher, you might as well give up DNA to give a voucher. It was a process. What do you think could be done differently in the realm of child care?
You know, the thing is, unfortunately, as we have our governmental changes, a lot of our services change. Not even just with child care. I know everybody saw that food stamps don't come out the same time anymore now. So I wonder why. I bet you go vote now.
Yeah.
So, and I'll leave that where that is. But just specifically for child care, you know, I'm a father myself, so I got the same child care bills as everybody else. I think it's like $1,100. It's ridiculous, you know. Shout out to my son's mom, she's doing great. But that's the thing, you know. We gotta work with each other and find good daycare centers, good after school programs, good before care, because you know, I know my mother when she had my, I think when she had my sister. No, when she had me.
Mm-hmm.
When she had me, she went to work 2 weeks later because she was nursing at the time, but just finishing up her accounting degree at Coppin State, and she was in between jobs. And she got an accounting job with the state, but they said we need to start in 2 weeks. But she had just had me 2 weeks ago. She wasn't gonna let that job go because she couldn't find a babysitter for a 2-week-old. So when the opportunities present itself, you got, and fortunately enough, my parents were married and it was a 2-parent household, but that's not everybody's case, you know. Or the father may be a truck driver or whatever, and he can't take off work,
right.
or whatever the situation may be, and it's hard or it's not common to have the mom to be off for 6 to 7 weeks and the
Right.
father to be off for 6 to 7 weeks, and they can tag team it, and one wake up at night and one take it in the morning, then the grandparent take it in the afternoon. That's called the Cosbys, and I haven't met the Cosbys yet.
Nope.
So in real life, I hate to say it takes a village, but it takes a village. You know, I love my little nieces and nephews and my little cousins, but I'm so glad that they're old enough to babysit.
I partied when I didn't have to buy no more pull-ups. I'm gonna let y'all know right now.
know,
When pull-ups went out the door, I partied. Okay,
you
'cause
got you got to potty train them at 1 now because we
Nope.
can't afford it.
Yes.
They going to school at 2 because you gotta get out this house. So you know, it's
You can work on your phone. You can do a job. That's basically what it is.
look, you ask for the phone again, then you can be calling Uber to come take you to daycare.
There it
You know,
is.
it's just, we gotta make sure that we take care of each other, especially our new parents. Our new parents, because again, that first time that baby cries and you don't know what's going on, that's a nightmare
Yep.
for a new parent. And I'm even say for a new father, because you can hold a baby like you can't see me. You can hold a baby like, what do I do? Where's your mother at? You know, the same thing for our new mom. So again, don't be so prideful that you don't ask for help. You gotta ask for help, or that's gonna wear on your body, wear on your soul, and it's gonna tear you down. You ask for help. Call your mother, call your grandmother, call your father, call your grandfather, call somebody, call a homegirl.
Knock on the next door neighbor's door.
What do you do when the fever reaches 101? You better be a good Samaritan or John Hopkins, something. Don't start putting onions around the bed. And I don't look. I digress.
Stop it. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, Marcus, just a couple more things, a couple more minutes here. Where are you gonna be when you leave from here? What's on the agenda when you leave from here today?
I have to go directly to the Northeast Police District and start preparing for our egg hunt. I'll be there from 11:30 till probably 2. Then I'm gonna get changed, and the egg hunt starts at 4. And the egg hunt is going to be at 1801 Argonne Drive. It is open to everyone, and we have everything. We have thousands of eggs and so much candy. You want to give your kids all the candy, then send them home to you to deal with. Right. And we want everybody to come out and have a good time, take pictures with the bunny, and do everything within the holiday season. Today at 4 p.m. The weather's going to be spectacular, so definitely come out. It's for the entire family, young and seasoned. In addition to that,
You're liking that word.
I am. I'm stealing it. And that's from 4 to 6. Then I'm going to go change clothes again because I have a candidates forum where I'll be discussing a lot of the issues going on in Baltimore City and in the district with my counterparts who are running for the same seat that I am running for, and that'll be at 5315 5315 Hartford Road, Faith Community Church, and that's at 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. So if you want to come here, not a debate, we're not Donald Trump and the rest of those guys. This is just a candidates forum. But if you want to come here, some of the candidates in the 3rd district, including myself, discuss our plans for the district, our past performance, And our future proposals come out this evening from 7 to 9 at Faith Community Church, 5315 Hartford Road. I promise it will be unlike anything you've ever seen before. We got a lot of good back and forth, and we got a lot of good ideas up in the 3rd District. And I encourage you to see all the candidates that's from the 3rd District, not just myself, but ultimately on Election Day, April 26th. I hope you vote for me, Marques Dent.
Okay, all right. And you're representing the 3rd District. 3rd District being what part of the city, real quick?
Northeast Baltimore, right by Morgan State. We got Hartford Road, we got Bel Air Road, we got Lock Raven all the way up to Perrin Parkway. We got Taylor Avenue on down, and our most southern boundaries are Argonne Drive and Chesterfield. So if you live anywhere over northeast, check your zip codes: 21218, 21234, 21206, 21213, 21234, 21239. Let me tell you, I know my district, I know my streets, and I know my people. So 3rd District, make sure you come out and vote. Early voting is April the 14th through the 21st. Our voting locations in Northeast Baltimore are at Vanguard, formerly Maritime, formerly Hearn Run. Depends on how old you are, that's where it's going to be. Also at the League for Disabilities. Early voting is from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day, April 14th through the 21st. And Election Day is at 7 a.m. all the way to 8 p.m. on April 26th. Go out and vote. Let your voice be heard. This is a presidential election. So we had the president, we had the mayor, we had the city council president, we had judges to vote for. We have a new senator for the first time since Bob Mikulski is retiring. And we also have myself running for city council in the 3rd District. Go out and vote. We have the opportunity to have our voices heard. We have the opportunity to get more opportunities and more resources in Baltimore City. This is the first time in history where we'll have almost a complete overhaul of City Council. So let's get some new blood in there. Let's get the right case in the right direction.
All right, all right. You all heard that. Go out and vote. Voting to see Marcus out of breath saying all them zip codes. I just want you to but he got them all out there. Y'all make sure you are registered to vote. Your vote does count. Your voice does matter. Make sure you get out there and vote. And before we close the show, I want to say thank you to Marcus for taking the time out to come out and speak with me, letting y'all know what's going on out there in Baltimore and what he's got going on. Marques Dent, thank you so much for being here today. And I want to leave you all with this. Just remember, life is too short to wake every morning with regret. Be inspired by those in your life, the way they dream, the way they keep going, and by the smile on their face. That's real life. They live it, you should live it. It is the best sort of life that you can get. So don't just talk about what you want to do, be about what you want to do. If you can believe it, if you can dream it, you can achieve it. And don't let anyone or anything tell you that you cannot. Can't is not a word that should be in your dictionary. And with that, again, thank you to Marques Dent. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We were running a little late, but I thank you for being patient and tuning in. And just remember, weeping may endure for a night, but joy does come in the morning. This is Lady Blue, the Lady Blue Radio Show on WMSK, onlineradio.com. Talk radio just got better.